general, specifically Visage too. I assume he'll still end up in the safe lane, and then they'll have Shadow Fiend. The matchup now, I suppose they could change it up right here if they feel it would be better, but the point is, I'm not stuck to that just because. When what? HFN, and he is heading towards the mid lane for now, looks like. So yeah, will be the safe lane. But on the other side, by the way, Earth Spirit in the hands of Ryur, who's labeled as their offlane player, of course, replacing Cuckoo for this event. Offlane Earth Spirit?
I guess. I don't. Yeah, because the Phoenix is played by Tims, who is their 4 position, and I mean, a lot of people have been very intimidated recently. I know Capitalist made a tweet comparing Earth Spirit's strength gain per level and Centaur's strength gain per level. Earth Spirit gets 3.8 strength per level, and Centaur Warrunner, who is considered the beefiest hero in the game, I believe is either 4.0 or 4.2. But they are very close in terms of how tanky they can get, and Earth Spirit, anytime that he starts seeing some exposure, is always on the chopping block for nerfs, and a lot of people initially were like, oh, Rolling Boulder's a stun now? What a nerf, because you can't multi-hero stun like you could with Boulder Smash, but you also have a 4-second stun cooldown, so Earth Spirit players have to be some of the most abused players in the entire game, but they persevere.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, so I'm glad you go with the whole Rolling Boulder. 4-second cooldown on what essentially is a 1-second stun, but every 4 seconds you could just, that's insane when you really think about it. And at the later levels, you will see that your spirits constantly rolling around and taking advantage of course that abilities. So, you know, perhaps playing the offlane obviously gets in that level that much quicker. It's going to be curious to see what kind of farm he uses. Maybe something like an earlier Blink Dagger perhaps to help with that positioning and getting in there, taking advantage of the leveled up Rolling Boulder. But some uniqueness coming out here from TNC, and frankly, I expect this here at this event. Again, this is the first major, of course, since 7.20, where a lot did change, it's safe to say, when it came to the strategy.
Yeah, and people have been, I think, playing auto chess in the meanwhile, maybe because they don't want to show anything, because I've been equally curious, waiting for the first major to see what emerges, and whatever we were seeing during online tournaments like Greaves Shadow Fiend is just the tip of the iceberg, I think.
Middle lane, the courier snipe. Tims is not patient enough, or is he? He's gonna maybe wait for it to return right here. He definitely knows it's going. In fact, it's going way up there. Shadow Fiend playing aggressive, so now Tims gonna try to snipe it on the way back. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, like this time, he's got it. There you go, takes it out. So good patience there.
Surprised if HFN just let it go like that, because definitely got vision of the Phoenix on multiple occasions, but it goes out and Phoenix immediately heads to the bot lane, which Ryur didn't really need the help. Ryur's doing just fine right now. He's at level 2 and solo against the Visage and the support Tiny.
Yeah, when it comes to Visage, it goes without saying, of course, I'd say strong. I mean, he's an okay laner, but of course those familiars is what really accelerates him. So until level 6, you can play perhaps a bit more aggressive, but you also have to expect that Grave Chill and eventually Soul Assumption level 1, 2, even the nuke that it can do with a hero like Tiny pairing as well. But yeah, with the Phoenix here, definitely a different story.
And it'd be a good way to burn through the upcoming Gravekeeper's Cloak. That is one thing that I think TNC is going well for them, is that they have good ways of jumping on the Visage and not letting that Visage just plink away with familiar damage and have those Gravekeeper Cloak stacks just stay up infinitely, because that's the way that a lot of Visages are being played, is that they are just auras for familiars, and they just let the familiars do everything while they sit back and make sure that they can do all the damage and tank everything over.
Mid lane matchup right now, 10-5 Shadow Fiend, make it 11. Make it 12-5 even as I'm talking about it. 9-1 Templar Assassin. So HFN, even an Arcane Rune currently used right here, so he's able to get that 2-minute Arcane Rune, making the most out of it as he spams those raises. So all 3 CS favoring Chaos right now when it comes to their cores, at least in the laning phase. We got the bottom lane Grave Chill, and he'll just run away as Ryur did go in with that Rolling Boulder. Tim's return though. Icarus dive, he's gonna be fine, and now Ryur's in the face of Visage. Boulder up in 2 seconds. He's doing some good damage. Throws out the Boulder Smash and the roll for the first blood. What a way to start things off with the first spear right here.
I think find out still got solid available, and this is gonna be looking for the kill. Yeah, Visage another hero that also has very little armor. It's all in Gravekeeper's Cloak, otherwise he has no natural armor. At least we not has managed to complete though, so he's gonna be a little bit more tanky. I think his way to the Vlad's.
Top lane, Terror lane, 14-1, so he is picking it up quite a bit. But Nature's Prophet, it goes without, especially with an Oracle teammate. I can't say I'm too surprised that Nature's Prophet is having a good time. In fact, they're going for a kill on Gabby. No, that was almost it. Ninja throws out the shallow for the last second to make keep him alive. Bottom lane, meanwhile, they will lose their Earth Spirit, making it a 1-1 game now as Chaos ties things up. But yeah, with that top lane pressure on top of that bottom lane kill, this laning phase is looking fantastic right now for the Radiant squad.
Yeah, terribly, like I said, cannot deal with trance, and it doesn't, I mean, obviously late it doesn't matter because you are never going to be in danger of trance. And now Armel duking it out with HFN for the spoon.
No. It's like, I'll take her. Yeah, a little bit of bait right there, but yeah, easy kill on him. Good job with the rotation. And bottom lane, oh, they get the kill on a Tiny to go for the turn of the Soul Assumption. Not enough damage though onto Earth Spirit. So, you know, this is what I expected. I was looking at the series and everything. We noticed that this is the one we're trying to cast first. I expected action, and we're getting it early on here, and I don't think it's going to slow down by any means.
No, especially the way that Chaos drafted. They can't afford to slow down. The game goes late, the Terrorblade will be too difficult for them to deal with, and the TA is going to be doing a good job in making sure it doesn't even get to that point to begin with, because her mid game is going to be very, very strong. Assuming that she's able to keep this pace against Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend, despite that death, still doing fairly well in CS, and I'm definitely looking forward to how HFN is going to build this, because I can't imagine he can go further than the build. Anything too slow in the draft.
Yeah, I feel like you're committed to that. And actually, on that point, I was going to ask you about it too. The Nature's Prophet, do you think he's going to be picking up a Vlad's? Because again, if you're going to be grouping up, that's like the strong item right now, right?
At most, then maybe it's Weehawk can build Vlad because he already has the headdress, and so you let Medallion built by Tavo because Visage needs one of them. And I guess if Weehawk needs the headdress region in the lane, then go ahead and let the Prophet build a Medallion instead. Prophet can always rotate wherever familiars are with teleportation and then go get a gank that way. But either way, those are the three core items, I think. Greaves may be like a little too long, at least they'll get like the mech and maybe start doing something, but mech, Vlad's, Medallion, and then I think you're ready to start grouping up as Chaos.
Nice. Keeping an eye on their progress as far as TNC is concerned. Again, Terrorblade, he's just worrying about getting any kind of CS he can, and gonna try to put some pressure on a Tavo, but Tavo's already got power treads. I mean, he's bulky, he's just fine. He just simply walks away, sprouts up defensively, and he'll be out of there as Oracle's rotated to the middle lane meanwhile, setting up a kill attempt onto Armel. It's gonna be a tough one, but a couple of raises in synergy. It's okay, they get the refraction pop, so gotta get that off. Here comes the Fortune's End. And Purifying Flip. Tavo comes in with a TP as well with the Sprout and the Tree Block, but too many supports TPing in from the other side and not worth the chase there in the end. So the rotation unsuccessful.
Yeah, and as a result, Gabby gets a little bit tier 1 damage up top, and the glyph has popped out. I'm actually surprised that Miser didn't go for the Courier. The Courier shield was guaranteed down. We saw Shadowfiend deal with it when he died, and he hit a double damage on the Oracle, but they thought that they could penetrate through Fraction, didn't end up working out, and TNC responded well enough, so at minimum, a lot of TNC support TPs are going to be down after that gank attempt.
Earth Spirit. When it comes to CS, Earth Spirit not the most fantastic. 19-1 down there on the charts, but level 4, almost level 5. About to hit it here. He's got double bracer build early on, and it looks like the Hood Defiance going to be his pick up. Perhaps a pipe he's going to be looking to pick up sooner than later in this game. Do you think that's going to be a valuable one if he chooses to go for that?
There's not much magic damage to be concerned about. I mean, it's a nice aura, but it's a little bit surprising that he's even considering that, because, wait, it's primarily physical damage, as we see physical damage is completely obliterating this top tier 1 tower.
Look at bottom lane, once again, he's trouble though. Three heroes even coming together, and an easy kill on him. Gravechill's not going to save Tiny doing what he can, but it is not enough, so the rotating Dazzle gets in there. But as you were talking about, the top tower goes down to all of that right click, specifically behind the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and Terrorblade, like I said, not a hero equipped to be able to draw aggro off of towers. He's just gonna have to retreat in the jungle, which isn't really the worst case scenario. Around level 6, this is around when you see Terrorblades transition in the jungle, no matter how good of a laning phase they had, just because it's easier to free up the lane for someone else, and few heroes farm as well as TB, as HFN now. Kind of getting some focus, but it looks like Ninja Boogie is gonna be the real casualty.
Nice block right there with the Sprout, easy kill as a result. Yeah, Nature's Prophet, good rotation, but you look at the build of Shadow Fiend, actually, there you go, Power Treads finish, so we're not going to see that Guardian Greaves build. You know, again, I've just been seeing so much of it recently, I just assumed that was the case, but yeah, he had different plans at least.
What's the plan? What, like, I hope it's not the Yule's build. The Yule's build would be my least favorite of the options. A lot of people like the various new Kaya combos on SF, but I don't really think he can go combat oriented. He's too squishy, and he's not going to be able to like go head on into a fight whenever he has to deal with like Dazzle slowing him down and Phoenix slowing him down and Trap slowing him down and stuff like that. You can, I guess, go for an early BKB, but I'm not a fan of that either. I don't know. It's surprising to me. Because even the purge, like you see Oracle just now purging the SF with Fortune's End. There's so many things, like so many slows, like I said, that would be so useful to dispel if you had Greaves. But he's going to stick with this while the rest of his team pushes. Weeha and Tavo head up to the top lane and just chunk it down.
Maybe they just figure they can get away with this in the sense that they don't need it because this is somewhat of a greedier draft from TNC, and yeah, Tim's is doing everything he can to survive right here as the Icarus dives away after the toss in, but now he wants to fight because a roll in from right here, he actually gets a nice magnetize off. They will lose Tiny in the back lines, and the chase continues. Weeha, throwing a familiar to the north, but they want the real hero. They want Visage, and Visage is going to be killed off as well. The ultimately ends up being a great response for TNC as a 10-minute bounty rune spawn as well, and again, kind of goes back to this. It's, you know, they're pushing a tier 2 tower right there, which is understandable. You have a Helmet Dominator and everything, but maybe being a bit too ambitious this early on in the game when you don't have all the R items yet. I don't even think he had Vlad's. I think he got it right after it happened.
I don't think they did. And just a Dominator is not sufficient to be able to go for that. But I guess it was a pretty heavy rotation from TNC, and the tier 2 tower top still takes a ton of damage. It's definitely very easy for Nature's Prophet to make his way over there at some point and finish it off. So they're getting structural damage. Maybe that's like the goal, is just scorched earth tactics. Just go in, get as much damage as possible, distract the enemy team, and maybe let SF become your hard carry. Maybe they're having him as an insurance plan in case the game goes late. They have something to do with Terrorblade, something to deal with Terrorblade.
That sounds so dangerous, though.
Exactly, yeah.
When you're going up against a Terrorblade and a TA for that matter, it's not like Shadow Fiend is going to be the scaling core.
And now Shadow Fiend is building in that.